Let's make this easy, delicious cranberry salad together. It's basically an amazing blend of fresh chopped fruits and berries. We're gonna be mainly using 1.5 pounds or 680 grams of fresh cranberries, 5 apples. I chose to have 3 green apples and 2 red apples, 4 oranges, 3 lemons, 1 pomegranate, some honey, some orange blossom, and some rose water. Let's start with the apples. You can core the apple with a corer or a melon baller for an easier and faster process. I usually am used to doing it with a knife, but it's not the safest way for sure, especially that a lot of people, when they're cutting an apple and placing it in the palm of their hands, they run the risk of cutting their thumb tendon. So please pay attention and use a very safe method by coring the apple with a corer or a melon baller, or at least have it on a cutting board instead of holding it in the palm of your hand. I personally used a manual method to slice then chop the apples before I place them in the food processor to chop them in an even, uniform way. I place them in the first bowl. Instead of slicing and chopping the apples, you can alternatively use the food processor from the beginning after coring the apples. This way you don't have any seeds in the apples and they're ready to be chopped in the food processor, and all you need to do is using short pulses. This way you control how much the food processor chops the apples, and we don't want them to be too fine to the point that they're as fine as pulp. We'd rather have them a little chunky for the salad, more like chopped pieces rather than very fine smoothie or pulp. I move on to the lemons. Grate 1 lemon and 1 orange with a box grater for their zest. So you zest only the lemon skin and the orange skin rather than the white pith. Now let's de-seed the pomegranate. We start first by cutting a square at the crown of the pomegranate so that by cutting it off, we will be able to identify where the seeds are at and where the chambers of these seeds are located. And we make superficial cuts at the chambers so that we don't cut through the seeds of the pomegranate. The outline of the pith inside the pomegranate that I can see through the crown that I cut off guides me to know where I need to make these cuts. And once I make these superficial cuts, I'll hold it with my fingers, especially 2 thumbs at the top, and then I pop it open. It looks like I have 4 chambers here. And as you can see, once I cut through the outline of the chambers, I was able to find the chambers, and once I popped it open, it's way easier to de-seed the pomegranate now, rather than picking each part and trying to cut it in half where I have to pick apart the seeds. It saves us a lot of time using this specific method that I actually learned on TikTok. Yes, you heard it right, TikTok. TikTok was really inspiring, and I've learned so many things there. Now I move on to slice some oranges and some lemons. Then I chop some of them and then place them in the food processor so that I can blend them to have a pulp consistency. Here you can see the de-seeded pomegranate, the apple chops, the lemon chops, lemon and orange zest, the orange slices. And now moving on to juicing 2 oranges. Then I throw the lemon chops and the orange slices into the food processor, top it off with some orange juice and lemon juice so that I can blend it to have some pulp consistency to use it as the main ingredient for the salad dressing. blend, blend, blend. Now that the juice with pulp is done, I throw on top of it the apple chops, and I use short pulses to control how fine I'd like the apple chops to be. Voila, and I place the blended mixture into a bowl. More apple chops. If you prefer the cranberry salad to be on the sour side, you can use strictly green apples. But if you'd like it to be a little bit sour, you can combine both green and red apples. It all depends on your taste and how you like your apples to be. Then my favorite part, adding all the pomegranate seeds. Then adding the lemon and orange zest, which give an amazingly refreshing flavor. And now it's time to chop the cranberries. And we want to be really careful. We don't want to add too many cranberries to the food processor. We want to take our time, be patient, and do it in several steps so that we don't overly chop the cranberries. We want to keep them as chunky as the apples so that it feels that it's an actual salad rather than a smoothie. And now we transfer the chopped cranberries from the food processor to the bowl. Now it's time to add more flavor to the dressing by adding orange blossom and rose water. You want to make sure that the orange blossom and the rose water are completely natural and not flavored. You want to make sure to use the real stuff. You can get them from any Middle Eastern store, and make sure to read the ingredients in the back. You don't want to use any artificial flavors. You want to use the real stuff. And as you can see on the label in the back, there's only one ingredient. The only ingredient on the rose water bottle is rose water, and the only ingredient on the orange blossom water is orange blossom water. That's it. Exactly one ingredient. No other ingredient is added to these. And now we add the rest of the juice mixture of lemon juice and orange juice, and we mix them together. Then we add more and more chopped cranberries. Top it off with some honey. The amount of honey to be used really depends on your taste. Voila, this is the final result. I hope that you enjoy it. Bon appétit. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more videos.